I gotta be honest with you. Even though I am experimenting and trying AI out in my business, I am still very reluctant to want to trust it and have it running full systems for me. And I see a lot of people online talk about things that they can automate thanks to AI and things that they can build and have AI take over in their business, which is great. But I think there's a very key question that we're missing here. And that's not if AI can be implemented with your automated solutions, but should you implement AI with your solutions? So that's why I wanted to break down 5 things that at this moment I refuse to put AI into my business with. So if you're just as suspicious of Terminators taking over your life like I am, then you might be in the right place. Let's get to it. Hey, how's it going? This is Eric with Solve Cycle Solutions. I save people time from doing the work that they hate by implementing automated and AI-based solutions. And this may sound a little weird for an intro, but I recently gave a talk about what you can and should automate in your business. And I realized that a lot of these things can be implemented to AI. And like I said, I don't see a lot of people pushing back on what you should and shouldn't be using with AI. So I figured it would be helpful to break down 5 areas that I actually either refuse to implement AI in my business or at the very least gives me great pause, and I don't think that AI is the solution there. Before we get started, I do want to invite you to test a new form that I've actually started developing. It is a worksheet called Can You Automate It? Should You Automate It? This is what based the topic of this video out of for trying to figure out how to automate your solutions and get to the very specific problems in your business. This is something that I am testing out right now. So if you'd like to get, in a sense, a pre-beta access, head to the link in the description of this video or scan the QR code that's hovering around my face, and you'll get a copy of this form. And when I start rolling out the trial webinar with this as well, you'll be one of the first people to know. So now that we have that housekeeping out of the way, I kind of just want to clarify a few things. First, and probably most important, is that this is just my express opinion. This is not anything saying like legal ramifications or trying to badmouth people that are implementing these solutions. What I am trying to break through in this video specifically is what are the risks that you are taking when you implement AI into certain aspects of your business. And I want you to judge for yourself whether these risks are worth it for you. The very first thing that I want to talk about, that this is something that I've just made it a flat policy that I'm not implementing this right now, are having direct customer engagements with AI. Now, what do I mean by that? Specifically, in this case, I am referring to having AI generate emails that are sent directly to the customers, or even creating AI chatbots for things like customer service or, in some cases, sales. And we've seen a lot of AI tools that have been implemented for very basic rudimentary structures. We all know those AI chatbots that we kind of hate, that we immediately have to go through a map, clicking through certain things to get to an actual human. And those, I don't necessarily consider the advanced AI, but this is something that I worry about more because of the threat of AI hallucination. And you may not be suspicious of that, and you may have built something that manages this, and that's fine. But let me show you the headline from this article. I'm going to talk a little bit about it, because I think, again, this is worth at least thinking of if you're wanting to implement something like this. And specifically, you may already be familiar with this Air Canada airline fiasco. So Air Canada, if you don't know, tried to set up an AI chatbot, and the AI basically created its own refund policy that promised the person that was trying to confirm some information about getting a refund, I'll post this article in the description of this video because it is a really good summary of what happened. But you can see that basically this person was trying to claim a refund within 90 days for what was called a bereavement rate. It's right down here. The AI bot said, yes, we can honor that. And then when he went back into Air Canada, they refused it, saying this wasn't a part of the refund policy for the company. Well, this guy ended up taking Air Canada to court and won. So this is, again, something that it may be, hopefully it's just a fluke, but the fact that it happened in such a way that caused the company to have to lose money, this could be something, if you're not prepared to handle that or handle that risk, may be an issue you have to deal with yourself. So this is, like I said, a very specific case that happened. And of course, this happened in Canada. So these types of legal battles have not yet happened in other places, at least to my knowledge. But this is something to be aware of. So if you have customer service that you're looking to handle to AI, and the other thing I didn't mention is that obviously after AI or Air Canada lost that battle, they removed the AI chatbot and they re-implemented their original customer service functions. So as you can see, this may be something you don't want to implement. Another thing that I've seen a lot of videos of people talking about is how they've just automated their inbox so they don't really have to look into it. They're able to use tools like Zapier and Make to just send that information over to an AI bot and write the script and send that out. Now, whether they're actually sending that out, I don't know. If at the very least, it would be something to have it draft a script or a template to start putting this information in so you can review it. But if you're trying to have something that just takes you completely hands off of communication, that's where I'm more concerned about. And you still need some sort of human element engaging with customers on all these aspects. Whether AI gets to a point that it can handle all that in the future, we'll see what happens. But for now, at least in my business, I don't want to put AI anywhere near my customers and engaging with them unless we are testing something specifically and I need to have someone that at least knows they're working with an AI bot. And another thing at least worth mentioning with a lot of the emails is that if you have information coming in and you want to send a templated email, you can easily do that in things like SmartSuite or even Make. And then there's also tools like ActiveCampaign and ConvertKit that can help manage your email automations and actually also help build your legitimacy in being able to reach customers. So again, there's a lot of different solutions to figure out what works best for you. For me, if I have one-off emails that I want to get sent immediately, I can have things sent through SmartSuite, or I can customize things a little bit more to use dynamically linked data from my database in SmartSuite inside of Make so that I can have consistently whatever information I want with the contact information that I need, and it makes sure that I am reviewing this information without having to send all this data out, just hoping that ChatGPT didn't say something insensitive or have me forced to do free work now because of a new refund policy that we have. So the second thing that I'm never trusting to have AI do in my business is actually anything related to drafting legal language. Now, I'm sure a lot of people got excited when they heard that tools like ChatGPT could pass the bar exam on their own, and thinking that they would need to eliminate the use of a lawyer, because whether it be that they just don't trust lawyers, or they're too expensive, or they prefer to settle deals together for working their own contracts out. And I'll admit, if you just don't trust lawyers already, this prompt probably isn't going to convince you to trust lawyers, but at the very least, maybe you should trust ChatGPT to make accurate work less. I just want to point out, if you remember specifically, this was a year ago where a judge actually fined in Texas 2 lawyers for using a court case that ChatGPT provided them that was found to be completely fictitious. So this goes into the main aspect of just AI can still just make things up on the fly. But the other thing to keep in mind is that AI with legal fields can be very useful for lawyers that know what they're doing and what they're looking for. Depending on the type of work you do, ChatGPT is not going to necessarily be able to get the specific nuance that a human has. And this is always a thing of maybe ChatGPT or AI is going to be better at this in the future. But for me personally, I don't see a time where I'm not going to want to have at least a human review the information. ChatGPT isn't always going to have the nuanced understanding that a human has, especially in whatever field or whatever practice you're doing. There may be certain hyper-specific regulations, whether it be for the industry you're in, for the specific part of the world you live in, or even just a specific, even zoning law that could be an issue that ChatGPT could miss or not understand. And so it's always better, in my opinion, to, at the very least, have a lawyer who is experienced with this than having something that is making things up. And the other thing to just keep in mind is that, sure, you may think that ChatGPT can just create a privacy policy for you, but if you don't already know what the law is, you don't necessarily know what ChatGPT is creating for you. It could be that it might, in some cases, be doing more than what's required for the law, or you might be doing not enough based on where you live. So just keep that in mind. Like I said in the beginning, I am absolutely not a lawyer. Don't consider this legal advice at all. These are just, again, the concerns that I have. And when I see people talk about what they're hoping to get rid of or offset in their business and have AI take over, I am still very suspicious of that. Now, the third thing that I want to also make this more of a blanket statement and probably more just a best practice for other aspects of your business is sharing personal data. Running your business and sharing information with other softwares as well is restricting what data you want, whether it's personal or business sensitive, that you don't want possibly leaked or shared online. Now, obviously, I think this makes sense that you're not going to trust ChatGPT with your social security information, but there's a lot of additional information that you may not want to have these AI bots having access to, whether it be your own personal business information or even thinking about what information you may be sharing of your clients. Again, this is where it helps to talk to a lawyer to see what is going to be an issue for what privacy data you may want to share or have to share with ChatGPT and what you need to disclose with people. And obviously, there's a lot of information here that ChatGPT and all these other companies say that they are trying to do everything to protect your data. But because this is such a new field, there aren't really any strong regulations set up yet that make it clear what information they're able to retain and train AI on, or even what they decide to keep for themselves. This may make certain things, there's possibility that it could make things easily more accessible for you, for your information, but also there's going to be, as you can see here from this article, talking about the big battleground of what is considered under copyright, accuracy, and this says bias as well, but it is going to have a lot of questions about what information is it collecting. And the other thing that I always think about, especially since we've learned this lesson time and time again with all the social media tools, where if you are getting something for free, then you are the product. So it is a question of what do you not know that ChatGPT or these other AI tools are wanting from you. So again, this is more of a probably best practice, but there's definitely aspects of my business or when I work with clients that I will be mindful of. If information is shared, is there going to have to be like risk management for what I put into ChatGPT for those clients, or do I need to have a special contract to make sure that I have permission to use that? Those are questions that I'm not sure about, and I'm looking into them myself. And so this is, again, something that you may want to investigate for yourself of how you want to protect your data. And things, so many different softwares seem to have bigger and bigger data leaks every year. AT&T this year had a massive leak of calls and phone numbers. Year or two before that, not Dashlane, it was LastPass had their massive data leak. So it really is a question of what information do you feel comfortable sharing with ChatGPT? And if that gets out, is that something you're worried about? So the fourth and final thing that I want to just talk about in terms of policies or rules that I have with AI in my business is that I don't publish any content, at least anymore, that has just basically been generated by AI for social media posting, websites, YouTube descriptions, or anything that is just text or copy without at least having reviewed it and made some significant changes. And this may sound similar to the very first post that I talked about, but there's a little bit of a difference here. And this is more of a reaction to using AI over time and realizing that the social media copy or the copy that I have it generate isn't very effective, at least for me. And let me show you what I mean. I'm going to hop into my LinkedIn screen here. So I'm zooming in a little bit here, and you can see just some of the information here where I started to notice, not just with my own business, but when I'm seeing people post on LinkedIn and other places, actually how much similar all of these posts are. And you can see that usually there's like a couple of emojis here, but they all use a lot of the same words that I've actually been having to forcibly remove. They really like using this brain explosion. And I also feel like anytime I see a post generated, it usually has a rocket, like 90% of the time. And so these are things that obviously some of that I can hear some people already saying, well, you're not refining this enough, or you're not working on this enough to make it efficient. And you're right. But I still think that these tools are missing some of the human elements that I need to make this sound like my own voice. And all of these posts here are just usually saying the exact same thing, but just changing some words around. I feel like I could make a drinking game of every time I see the word revolutionize or unlock on one of my social media posts, and it will just, I would have to go into rehab immediately because it would be that frequent that I would be seeing this on all of my social media posts. So this is something that, it is going to take some time to update this process, but at the very least, what I thought would make things a lot easier, and 2 years ago when this came out, I was floored by how eloquent and how impressive these social media posts were. But now, after working on it, seeing that this is not something that I'm going to have to actually work on this to stand out again. So there's a lot of other things that I have to work on with my LinkedIn accounts, and I'm hoping to show some things later about what I am doing to improve that. So also, as a side note, if you are interested in seeing how that changes, please let me know in the comments and see what I can make a video showing when I start implementing some of these changes for LinkedIn. Thing to be cautious of, and it's not so much more of a rule, it's more of just a warning. And for me, that is to treat AI's research ability with a heavy amount of caution. And I know that we've all seen a lot of funny things that AI has told us, like putting glue on pizza, or even some people saying eating pebbles to increase your health, but whatever increase your health means. But there's not a lot of things that make me feel fully confident that I can trust this system 100%. I know that everybody keeps saying this is the dumbest AI is ever going to be. And I'll hold my judgment on that, to be honest. I know that things will get better, but I don't think that, at least right now with how things are, that there are ways to have this be taking over full aspects of people's jobs. It is meant to be more of a helpful tool to make people more efficient. And what I find is that I'm not wanting to use it to generate information, but to create rubrics to run information through. And that makes the AI more effective for me. And one last thing I do want to clarify with AI and having this healthy suspicion of it is that it doesn't actually remain unbiased with your information. It only reacts to the information you provide it. And a really good example of this is showing how Amazon built an AI recruitment tool that was biased against hiring women and people of color. And the main point here was that it wasn't that Amazon was trying to hire less women intentionally. It was that the AI was looking actually at the percentages and the layout of who currently was hired. So it's only trying to replace people based off the existing data. So this is, again, something to keep in mind with AI, where, it's going to respond to what you put into it. It is not necessarily an unbiased thinking machine that can be exact and honest. It's going to tell us what we know based on, or what it knows based on the information you provided. So what's the main takeaway at the end of this video? Well, the main thing that I want you to think about from this is what, again, are aspects of your business that you don't trust AI to use, whether it be for things that you read about that have been problems for other people, or things that in your gut, it just says this may not be the best idea just yet. So I encourage you to take some time to think about that. And I'm still not entirely sold on AI, I'll be honest. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not working with it. I will be trying to improve my skill sets. I do see value there, but I don't see how to get from point A to point B just yet without having some additional tools. And this is also why I still go back and use no-code automations, because those are things that I can pre-program to be repeatable and reliable and have the ability to import specific dynamically linked data that is relevant to what helps me keep my own database growing and keeping all my information in one spot. So again, this is just a very brief, I know it's been more probably like a TED Talk, but these are just some of the problems at least I see with AI when working in my business. And I also love to hear what certain aspects of AI have you concerned, or even things that you feel like you don't trust AI to run in your business, if there's anything else that you think I missed blatantly. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear that. And also, as a final note, don't forget, if you want to get the pre-access to my Can You Automate It, Should You Automate It form, then please consider filling out the link in the description. And thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got a ton of value out of it. Feel free to subscribe to this channel, and I'll be making more content like this if you enjoy this or found this useful. And feel free to share this with someone that you think would also benefit from having a reality check of what AI can and can't do, or what should and shouldn't do. So thank you again for watching, and this is where I stop.